Tomorrow marks a month since Manchester United sacked Ruben Amorim, and what a turnaround it's been under Michael Carrick. He'll look to continue his 100% record in charge against former club Spurs on Saturday. They're training live now, and we can join our reporter Daniel Kahn. Daniel, let's talk about Bruno Fernandes. Tell us about his incredible form.
Yeah, good morning, Tom, and welcome to Carrington. I'll just step aside so we can have a look at Michael Carrick's side training ahead of that big game against Tottenham Hotspur this weekend, Saturday lunchtime. And, you know, someone, as you mentioned, who has been outstanding, especially since Michael Carrick and his backroom staff have taken charge, is Bruno Fernandes. I mean, It's funny, Tom. Obviously, I was at the game on the weekend, and yes, he picked up 2 more assists, but it was his whole performance, really. When you're at the game, you see the extra touches of class, the extra awareness. His assist, of course, in the 95th minute for Benjamin Šeško to get that winner was world class. And perhaps have a bit of a question for Jamie in the studio. I just wonder, Bruno Fernandes, 12 assists in the league so far. He very well could be the United record of assists in a Premier League season. That's 15 with David Beckham. But could he match, if not surpass, the Premier League record of 20 assists? What do you think, Jamie?
Yeah, I think he could. I think they've got him back in his best position. I love watching him play as a number 10. I think he was hamstrung playing as a midfielder under Amorim, but Michael Carrick has given him a new lease of life. If he stays fit, he makes things happen for Manchester United. He's a danger. I think he's one of the best, if not the best player in the Premier League this season.
Yeah, Daniel, I'll ask.
But on that point, Jamie, I mean, should we be talking about him then as a potential player this season? I know Arsenal fans will probably talk about Declan Rice and Gabriel, but I mean, what Bruno Fernandes, I also think even last season, 20 goals and assists each in all competitions, despite a team finishing 15th. Just don't feel like he ever maybe gets the credit that he deserves, but maybe especially now playing, as you mentioned, in a position that he loves being in.
He should absolutely be up for Player of the Season. I think he's underrated. I think he's an incredible football player. And, you know, every season when you look at the Sky stats that come up all the time, he is at the top of most chances created pretty much every season. He's a fantastic footballer. He's brilliant. I love watching him play, and he makes Man United tick.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and it's really interesting, Tom and Jamie. We'll see the players come back to warm up in front of us very soon. But it's very interesting while Michael Carrick's having a bit of a talk with them. They, of course, face his former side, Tottenham Hotspur, on the weekend. A team, Jamie, I'm sure you'll be aware of, beat Manchester United 4 times last season in all competitions, in 3 different competitions, including that Europa League final. But it's incredibly interesting to think where those both teams have gone since that final, isn't it?
Yeah. If you can just stay there as long as possible so we can get the tactics and the formation, that'd be great. You know, stay there as long as you can. Don't get kicked out. We need to know what they're doing. But, yeah, look, it's a massive game. And he's done a fantastic job, Michael Carrick. He's been absolutely superb. And, you know, I'd love to know what Man United fans are thinking of whether he can actually stay in the job.
Yeah, I mean, it is very interesting. And actually, we can see Steve Holland taking some of the training now on the right. Right there, yes, absolutely. My fantastic cameraman, Matt, is finding him now. And I think it's not just Michael Carrick that we have to talk about, Jamie. It's also the backroom staff, like Steve Holland. And it is a valid question. I also have another point with this. When we talk about Michael Carrick, is he a long-term solution at the club? Would we be talking about it differently, though, if we weren't talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the background? You know, his term, having been a caretaker, then the head coach. I mean, he did lead United second, but I just wonder if that hadn't happened or that period in United's history hadn't happened. That seems to be what the conversation with Michael Carrick right now is caveated by is, well, what happened with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? We don't want that to happen again. But it's very different. And also, Michael Carrick, the performances are very different. I remember that trademark win against PSG, for example, in the Champions League that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer essentially got the job off of, really, permanently. They were playing backs to the wall sometimes, you know, counter-attacking football. Michael Carrick has shown, especially in periods in that Manchester City and Arsenal game, they were very comfortable on the ball. They were showing a lot of quality. They were showing freedom, creativity. Even in the Fulham game, maybe it didn't always pay off, but I haven't seen a Manchester United team play like this in a very, very long time. So, look, I think, do Manchester United fans want Carrick? I think the better question is, does he deserve an equal opportunity to the likes of Thomas Tuchel and the rest who could be considered in the summer? I think that is the question. That's what I really believe. If Michael Carrick and his staff show that before the end of the season, then he absolutely will be deserving of that.
Dan, it's really interesting watching the cameraman now, just following Carrick. He's very hands-on, which I love to see. You know, he is coaching this team. He's very hands-on. He's giving information. You know, this is just the start of the training session. Normally, I would have thought Steve Holland, Johnny Evans, Jonathan Woodgate would take this, but Michael Carrick, the manager, is right in the thick of it. He's making, you know, he's getting the team going. He's getting them ticking. I love to see this.
Yeah, absolutely, Jamie. I've been to a lot of these training sessions throughout the season and under Ruben Amorim ahead of the season. You'll see a lot of movement here. But what impresses me the most, you're right to mention Michael Carrick in terms of leading the session, but it's him, Jonathan Woodgate, Steve Holland, even Johnny Evans, Travis Binion, all part of the staff. They work in unison, leading the sessions. I mean, they have, I know, a good chat beforehand. And I know this sounds quite simple, and you probably think this happens at all different football clubs. But I've been told the sessions have been shorter, more intense than perhaps what they were under Ruben Amorim. There's more individual training for some of these players as well. And I think that has gone down particularly well with these players, Jamie. I mean, you can tell me more, but considering they have quite empty weeks at the moment, not being in competitions, they seem to be trying to fit a lot more in a shorter space of time, which enables the players to maybe have a bit more freedom away from Carrington, but also they're seemingly getting a lot out of it, and we're seeing that on the pitch as well.
Yeah, I think you can tell from the start of a training session whether the players are on it. You know, whether it's flat, whether it's, you know, like players not really bothered. You know, simple passing drill. You can see Carrick is he's vocal. He's getting them going early doors. You know, people sprinting straight from the first start of the session. It's good to see. You know, it's good to see the standard. You want it. That's how you want it. Every training session, we go out, we start, and there's no messing about. Get straight into the session and let's crack on. And I think that's why you've seen a different Man United.
Yeah, Manchester United, 3 wins in a row. Daniel, thank you.
Yeah, Solanke's obviously coming back into fitness and form, so yeah, it'll be a tough game.
It certainly will, and Spurs just got a really good result against Man City, coming from 2 down to salvage a point. Could have gone on to win that game actually, but we know it's going to be tough. Spurs had the Indian sign over us, didn't they, last season? Beating us in 3 different competitions, twice in the league, so we do owe them one at the weekend. We
do, and like I said, if you're Spurs right now, yes, they got a good point against City, so they'll be full of a bit of confidence. But listen, we're just watching these lads now. You know, they all looked happy, looked together, looked like full of confidence. And listen, Spurs are coming to Old Trafford. We need to make sure, you know, Old Trafford's a fortress again, and they'll have to do a lot and play really well to beat us.
There's a really good energy, a good atmosphere around the place at the moment. Before the lads came out for training, you had a little chat with Michael Carrick and Johnny. What was the vibe?
Yeah, there's obviously played with Michael. Obviously Johnny, I've known for a very, very long time, 25 years. But now everyone's happy. Everyone's just, and the fun thing they did say is that the lads are working hard. They're all pulling together. I think even Michael said that, you know, Xerxes' reaction to Sesko scoring and the togetherness that they've got at the moment is great to see. And just there now watching them, it's bringing back some memories. But now it's just great to see.
How much do you want to get out on the pitch and train with them?
Michael just said, I haven't got my boots. Oh, I'd love to. Obviously, probably couldn't keep up with these anymore, but no, I'd love to be just put my boots on and have just one last session with them, yeah.
I mean, they are looking fit, they're looking well at the moment. We've largely got a fit squad. Obviously, we're sad to be without Patrick Dorgu, who scored the goal of the month and was player of the month for January. Matthias de Ligt still not training with the group at the moment. Hopefully he won't be far off, but generally Michael's had a good fit squad to choose from, which obviously is going to help.
Yeah, he has. Like I think you mentioned there, like Patrick, we seen him in the building a minute ago, and unfortunate for him because obviously he was flying, but Cunha, obviously he scored the winner at Arsenal. He comes into the team at the weekend. You know, he scored another great goal. So listen, there's players now that'll be on the bench that'll be itching for a chance, itching for the moment. And listen, while the team's flying, they know they've got to be patient. And when they do get a chance or they do get to come off the bench, they've got to try and make an impact. And you know, we've got a lot of young lads there as well that we can see that are training and trying to like push their way through as well.
Yeah, and certainly the young lads, getting the academy lads in the group is great for their development, isn't it? So they can see just how the first teamers train and the standard to which they have to get to force their way into Michael Carrick's plans.
Yeah, and listen, I remember this like it was yesterday, coming over to train with the first team and trying to impress every day. You know, whether you're in the gym, whether you're on the grass, whether you're travelling, you've got to, you know, show the manager that you're doing everything you can. But listen, it's just great for these lads to train with Casemiro's, Bruno's, all these top players, Cunha's, and just learn from them and try and pick the brains and see all that their good habits and see if you can put their good habits into your game.
Yeah, as an academy player coming through yourself, you must have learned so much when having the opportunity to train with that first team. When you were training with some unbelievable players as well.
Yeah, listen, it was tough. You know, Rio, Patrice, they demanded a lot of everyone. You know, Gary Neville, Scholes, Giggsy, they didn't let up. You know, when
it's not as bad as the players you're being.
And then you got Wazza signed for us. I was like, he's pretty much the same age as me, but at that point, he was like he was 10 years older than me because he was just a big, strong, big boy. But no, listen, I learned a lot from them. You know what? We knew about the quality, but I think it was the mentality. I think that I learned from them. Every day winning, whether it was possession, whether it was box to box like we can see at the games, it was everything. You had to win and you had to give your best to try and beat each other.
One of the things Michael Carrick said to us actually before the lads came out is about Benjamin Šeško's winner. Carrick said he was so happy for Benji, as he called him, to get that winning goal in front of the Stretford end because the atmosphere was sensational. A winning goal, 3-2 late on in front of the Stretford end. It doesn't get much better than that, and Benjamin Šeško was loving it.
Yeah, listen, that's dreams, isn't it? I think his first touch, obviously the coaching staff, the players on the bench, Xerxes sprinted, probably pulled his hamstring.
Sprinting to celebrate, yeah.
But that's what you want to see because, they're pushing each other and they're wanting each other to do well, even if, like I said, Xerxes probably wants to get an opportunity playing up top. Of course,
yeah.
Šeško gets the goal and he's happy for him.
Is that one of the biggest challenges for Michael and his staff at the moment then, to keep everybody happy, given that we are only in Premier League competition, there are no opportunities to rotate the team too much, so keeping everyone happy and making the subs who do come on impact the game, which they have done?
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that because I feel like keeping the lads happy, it's the ones that are not playing, but you can do that in training. You don't want to feel like you're punishing them, but you can give them sessions, you can keep them going. And that for me when I was at Leicester, and also when the first team's winning, when I was at Leicester, and there's not much you can say when you're on the bench if the team is winning. It's maybe if you lose it and you're like knocking on Michael's door saying, no, I want to play, but listen, the team's winning. It must be such a good feel good factor now, and I said they'll just be waiting their time and trying to impress Michael and the rest of the staff, for example, today and every chance you get in training.
It's really interesting to hear you and Michael talking as well.
As well, so yeah, everyone's going to be involved in this, and looking forward to seeing the standard and the quality.
Yeah, so they're set up for this drill now. Explain a little bit about what they're doing, because you spoke to Michael about this.
Yeah, so I think they're just going to be passing drill to start, get them going, get them warm. It's funny, and I'm just watching Johnny talking to Casemiro. Yeah, it'll be a passing drill, and then they'll probably go into some wave games once they're warm. So I think he said it's 3 teams, and you literally just one attack, the other defend. Once they finish defending, they'll attack, vice versa. And that was one of my favourite sessions actually. And like I said, it's 18. It's box to box, 18 yard. Yeah, listen, I think he's just great for Johnny. Obviously, I think he said it was. He felt it was like the right time for him now to get in. And we asked him, didn't we? I said, "Do you ever want to feel like you still want to join in?"
Yeah.
He was quite happy and said no.
He said he knew he was done, didn't he? We're playing.
But yeah, like I said, it's. Listen, I'd be on there if I could, if get boots on if I could. But he's just Michael's there now, just showing everyone what they need to do, and he'd probably just be going around in a circle and just like I said, getting everyone warm.
It was good to have a quick chat with Steve Holland as well, who's on the far side. That he is such a benefit to this coaching staff, isn't he, with his wealth of experience and knowledge.
Yeah, look, listen, obviously when we heard he was taking up the job with Michael, obviously even as me as a pundit or ex-player, you ask around him what he's like, and I've only ever heard good things, amazing things actually. And he's one of them, I think, even if I was a player and I knew he was coming in to coach me, you know, I'd have been really excited because of the players that he has worked with, the clubs he's worked at. And from what I know, we think he grew up a Man United fan, so that helps.
Yeah, you're spot on about the passing drill here, just getting the legs moving, that slightly smaller pitch like you mentioned. The lads will be loving that.
Well, listen, from what I've seen in the last 3 games, even these little drills here, this is what we're seeing in the games. You know, when they've controlled the games and the little intricate passes. If you look at, you know, the Arsenal goal, the way they were just popping it around with Cobby and Bruno, and this is it starts from the training ground. Though sometimes fans don't see this, but again, it's something that I've noticed from Michael's sessions and how the lads are playing. You know, come match day. Yeah,
and obviously at the moment, we're on Wednesday before the Saturday game. They're not doing too much work on their shape or the tactics for the Spurs game. That'll largely come tomorrow. So, is this stage of the week more about just getting familiar with the ball, just getting your legs going?
I think
what is it like at this stage?
Today would probably be the session for me where I want to get the most out of it.
Right.
Because like you said, tomorrow will probably not many people will be allowed in tomorrow because it'll be tactics and the game plan. But I think today I'd really want to have a good session because like I said, tomorrow it will be a lot of shape. It'll be, you know, how we're going to press, how we're going to drop off, what the triggers.
So the hardest work today of the week, yeah, that makes sense.
Obviously going into Friday will probably be very light, short and sharp, maybe some set pieces and just feel as fresh as you can for Saturday because obviously it's early kick-off as well, so Friday will be just as important.
Yeah, an early kick-off, 12:30, isn't it, UK time on Saturday. And you'll be joining us for that actually, Simo, you and John O'Shea at Old Trafford for that game. And after 3 wins from 3, if we can get another win against Spurs and make it 4 from 4, the dreams, the hopes of getting back into European football are becoming ever more realistic day by day, week by week.
Look, I think now you've got, listen, the way the team and Michael started.
Training ahead of that.
Like I said, what is it? I think there's 12 games left, I think. So you've got no midweek games. He's got all this time now to do this work because we've got no midweek games, and it's a massive opportunity for us to get back into European football, hopefully Champions League football, and where we belong. But I just like it now. Everything's one touch. It's all one touch, short and sharp, and yeah, it's got a great chance to finish. So it says we beat Spurs, and we've got to just keep kicking on, and it seems that I'll be scared to play us the way we're playing at the moment.
Good win from Michael Carrick in Manchester United. How has he turned things around so quickly?
I mean, bringing maybe happiness back to the training ground. I mean, I was a big Ruben fan, so I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, when he got the job, I know all Manchester United fans, most, like 90% of us, were optimistic. We were like, this is the man. Regardless of tactics, playing a back 3 and all that, whatever Carrick has done, to me, in the space of 3 days when he got in there, Tom, right, I think the players have to look at themselves as well, because I've said this so many times. I played for so many managers. I didn't like the tactics, I didn't like the style of play, but you have to do your job. I'm talking the basics, like run, you know, put yourself about for the fans. What Michael Carrick has done in the space of 3 games, Ruben Amorim, it took him 1 year to win 3 games in a row. That bloke's nearly about to get his hair cut. You know what I mean?
I was going to ask you, what's he going to do?
Imagine we'll get to 4 games in it. But, like, all jokes aside, but, like, I know a lot of the ex-Man United players are always outspoken about this, right, about who should take over. I'm a big, like, keep him in, genuinely. I don't think it feels the same as when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took over. Remember on the last time I was on with you a couple of weeks ago and I was saying, oh, we'll get Ancelotti, he's just signed a new deal anyway. Let's get Emery, let's get all these managers. And I'm like, I need a word with myself because maybe this is where we're at. If this works for what we have at this moment in time and he's getting the best out of the players individually, I don't want to take that risk of getting in a Tuchel in at the end of the season that everyone's talking about and then we go back to square one. Who's to say that Thomas Tuchel comes in or Pochettino comes in or Emery comes in or Glasner comes in and it's going to be good.
You end up in Carrick again next January.
Exactly. Like, we can't keep doing this. So I just think, like, everyone, like, you know, Roy Keane all that saying, oh, he can't keep the job. Like, to me, if he continues in this way, like, someone made a good point to me the other day. Like, Ruben hasn't even done a statement about anything since he's left, thanking the fans. Now, I know it's all token gestures, and I hate it when players go on socials after a game. We're unlucky today, boys. No, you lost the game. I don't want to see a picture of you with your head in your hands. Do you know what I mean? Like, but what he's done so far, Michael Carrick, he's brought the love back. Steve Holland as well. Johnny Evans, Jonathan Woodgate. You know, whatever they're doing, Tom, it's working. And at the weekend against Fulham, that was a massive test because everyone's always saying, you know, we beat the good teams and against the poor teams, we slip up. Almost slipped up, didn't we? But what I'm seeing so far, Cunha is not happy being on the bench, but look at him. He's loving football. Sesko's coming off the bench, making an impact. So whatever Michael Carrick has done and those people have done at the club, at this moment in time, they brought the love back. So people might think I'm crazy sitting here saying keep him in the job. I feel that way, Tom. I feel that way because, like I said, at least he's proven that he's brought the love back to Manchester United. And if we make the top 4...
Let's see what fans think, actually. I mean, by the way, get your voice notes in on this, by the way, and your messages on the future of Michael Carrick. Let's speak to James MacDonald now. James, I'm going to ask you the same question every week. Should Michael Carrick get the job on a permanent basis?
Yeah, I mean, he's making an absolutely amazing claim to get it, isn't he? I mean, them results he's picked up so far, we've looked like a different team. And as long as he carries on like this, why wouldn't you give him the job?
Right, I'm going to ask you about this. We've got quite an interesting graphic here on the Finalysis app. You can rate player performances, as you well know. OK, now have a look at this. Look at the upturn in the last 3 games since Carrick has been in charge. So against Burnley, 55, then 46 against Brighton, then 84, 77, 86. That's fans rating his performance. Look how much he's changed since Carrick's come in.
Yeah, it's not just him, it's the whole team. We've all elevated. Everyone's looking better, everyone's looking refreshed, everyone's looking like they're enjoying football. And I'm not going to lie, the fans are too. It's reflecting in the Finalysis. I mean, I was speaking to another Finalysis the other day and he was rating players zeros in the Brighton game. So, yeah, long may it continue. Let's get them numbers up.
Zero's a bit harsh. Would you keep Casemiro now?
It's a difficult one because you've got to take into account his age, but look at his intelligence on the ball, on the pitch. He just spots things that other players don't. Look at that no-look Zoolander face there as he passes the blue steel. But yeah, that kind of intelligence is rare to find in football, and if he is going, there's going to be some big shoes that need filling.
But talking of those numbers, Tom, on the Finalysis app, biggest common denominator here, Kobbie Mainoo's come back into the team as well. And you can't underestimate, like, how hard it is when you're not playing, right, to come back in and to be able to play 90 minutes games against those Man City and Arsenal and to perform to those levels. Like, it's no coincidence to me that Man United look more balanced now, don't we, James?
Absolutely, and I think as well, not to take the shine off what Mainoo's been doing, but I think Casemiro's got to take a lot of credit for him because them two are working really well to each other, and having that experience next to a young guy like Mainoo's only going to get the most out of him, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and so Mainoo's back in the side. Marcus Rashford's still out in Barcelona. He wants that deal to be made permanent. Would you want him back?
Listen, it would be an absolute fairy tale for him to come back to United, come pick up some trophies, but it's just not realistic. I think unfortunately his story's kind of done at United. I mean, if he came back, I'm sure the fans would support him and get behind him a bit. But I just feel like it's time to move on in terms of Rashford and just look at the future and the new era of United.
What do you think, Leanne, on Rashford?
I agree with that. I mean, Yeah, I think the Man United fans have been very patient with Marcus Rashford over the years. You know, I think they do back him because he's one of our own. But I think, I think that ship has sailed. I think that you know, wish him all the best of luck at Barca. But if he came back, James, I feel like it would not be a backward. But this is a guy that probably might go to the World Cup and play for England. So on one hand, it's like, what?
Yeah. Well, I'm absolutely. I think as well, if he came back, I don't think there's. He's one of them rare United players who's left in recent years. No one's really got any ill will towards him. It's not like a Garnacho coming back or a Sancho stuff. People want United fans that I speak to want the best for Rashford, and if the best for him is at Barcelona, then more power to him. But I just don't see a future where he plays for United. But again, what a fairy tale it would be if he came back and we started winning trophies.
Looking ahead, along with Chelsea, Manchester United, the only team to have won their last 3 league games. There's 8 points separating Manchester City in second and Liverpool in 6th. So where will you finish? And are you now expecting?
You're saying we're going to win the league?
Yeah.
Are you saying you're going to win the league?
No, I think obviously all season I've been saying 5th is where we're going to get, but I think the way the season's panned out, no team has showed that consistency apart from Arsenal. So a few little results go our way. Our next 5 games are quite kind to United. Who's to say if we put a run together, that lad gets a mohawk, we climb up the table. Today we can't get second.
Yeah, we just had a message there saying Manchester United will finish second. Mark my words. OK, James, thank you.
Thanks, James.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Voice notes coming in. This one's from Chris, who's still not happy with Jamie's assessment of Dominic Solanke's goal against Manchester City, awarded after a VAR check.
O'Hara, you talk too much and you don't make sense at all. You don't make sense. It's favorable to you because, yes, it favors Spurs. If this were to be City, I don't think you'll be talking the way you're talking. You're talking because the referee favored you. But it's wrong. It's from the back and it has to do with a goal. So don't talk like that. You talk because you're a Spurs fan. Be neutral, please.
I can assure you, by the way, that, you know, if Man City won that game, I wouldn't have lost any sleep over it.
Because it would have helped Arsenal.
You know, it would have, yeah.
It wouldn't have, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, because Spurs getting something from that game helps Arsenal win the league. Look, I done ref watch with Derm, and Dermot Gallagher agreed with me that the kicking action was there. Look, it's a 50-50, it can go both ways, but the on-field decision from the referee was goal. So I think you have to leave it at that. I don't think there was enough in it to rule out the fact that that was a foul. You know, if he ruled it, the referee thought it was a foul, then there's that argument. But on-field decision was goal. You go to VAR, it's got to be clear and obvious. I don't think it was clear and obvious. For me, the kicking action from Solanke was there. He was already in motion, and Gay steps across him. It comes off him and goes in, but Solanke gets a touch on the ball, which pokes it towards goal. That was my argument, and that's why I think it was.
Did you want Tottenham to lose because it would have hurt Arsenal?
No. Listen, we've got to get away from that. Arsenal are a really good side. We can't be the club that wants to lose games. And, you know, it was funny last season, you know, with Man City and that. But this season, no, absolutely not. We're in a terrible state in the Premier League. Spurs have got to progress. It's the second season of underachieving in the Premier League. It's not good enough. We're meant to be a Champions League side. We're fighting for 4th, 5th, 6th, and we're nowhere near it. So, no, we've got to try and win games. If Arsenal win the league, they win the league. Arsenal and Spurs need to catch up.
What did you think about Christian Romero's comments when he said that you know, there's only 11 fit players, and he said that was disgraceful? Now, there is talk it may have been lost in translation. Yeah. But there's been no explanation for that. What do you read into that? It doesn't seem like he's having a go at his manager, by the way.
No, he's not having a go at the manager. It seems to be aimed at the board. I have to say, I don't like your captain coming out and criticising the board. His job's to be on the pitch and do his job. He's been part of a problem this season in terms of leaking goals and not performing. He's the captain, and the team's underperformed. But I also agree with him that he is someone who is a massive player, World Cup winner, wants to see the club progress, could quite easily go to some of the best teams in the world, and he's looking at Spurs at the moment in terms of what he's seeing in January when we've got 10 to 15 injuries, and we're looking at the squad and we're not signing anyone. And he's obviously sitting in the dressing room, and the discussions are probably happening saying, any danger of some help here? You know, we've signed a kid from Hearts who potentially might be a good player. Signed Conor Gallagher. He's a good player. But where's the marquee signings? Where's the big players that Spurs should be trying to go after? The ones that you said you're going to get over the line. You talked about Daniel Levy leaving the football club, and these new people coming in who are going to take the club forward, and we're going to go after big signings and we're going to get deals over the line. They've not got nothing over the line. So for Christian Romero, who's a captain and a World Cup winner, he must be sat there frustrated. Now, do I like it? He's coming out digging out? Probably not. But I also understand his frustration.
Would you take Raheem Sterling?
Yes.
He's available on a free.
Yeah, I would take him. What I would like to... I think Raheem Sterling is... Look, he's a Premier League legend. You know, he's in the 100-goal club. So he's a top player. It hasn't worked. It didn't work for him at Arsenal. Didn't really work for him at Chelsea. But Chelsea changed their remit in terms of how they wanted to do things, and they wanted him off the wage bill, and they wanted to get rid of him. What I'd like to know from Raheem Sterling is, one, would he want to sign for Tottenham? We need a left winger. He plays left wing. Has he still got the fire in his belly? That's what you need to know, and this is what managers need to look at. When you get to 31 and he's achieved everything that he's achieved and he's had an unbelievable career, you need to know from that player who's been training on his own if he's still got the fight, because he's a very wealthy man and he's achieved a lot. Has he got the fight to still be a top player? Is he up for a dogfight? Is he up for fighting for his position? You know, does he want to get 100% fit? Does he want to make things happen? When the going's tough. It's all nice when you're winning 3-0 and Raheem Sterling might make things happen. You go, oh, this is great as a footballer. Does he want to have it when it's tough, and it's tough at Tottenham right now? Are you ready for a scrap? Are you ready to step up and take things on your shoulders? If he's got that, and he's still got that in his belly, that fire in his belly, I would 100% sign him.
Well, is there another few free agents I'll just throw names at? Jesse Lingard, Dele Alli, James Rodriguez, Sergio Ramos, Paco Alcacer. Just to get through this period of injuries, would you take any of them?
Listen, they're all brilliant. They're all fantastic footballers. I mean, Sergio Ramos, he's buying a football club. So I don't think he's going to end up coming to Tottenham. I think he's trying to buy Sevilla, isn't he? So Dele Alli, I think that moment's gone. I think when you talk about fire in your belly, I think maybe that's gone out in him.
Just Sterling, of all those.
Out of them, yeah, Sterling definitely, but the rest, no.
OK, lots